Now is Father O'Brien. How are you doing, Father?
Very well. Jay, Kevin, how are you both?
Very good.
Thank you.
Always good to see you. We go back a long way, as we were talking about before the show, so it's good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're going to talk about Lawrence Catholic Academy, and you've got some big things going on. And as Kevin had said earlier, we hope that this is somewhat of an inspiration to all those other Catholic schools out there because it's such an important time. What has been the recent enrollment trends at Lawrence Catholic Academy? And tell us about the kids and the staff, because I think people are going to be surprised about the enrollment trends.
So Lawrence is a city of about 90,000 people north of Boston. It's a former mill town. It's one of the economically poorest cities in the United States, the economically poorest in Massachusetts. We're primarily an immigrant community. We're the most of color community in New England, 90+% people of color, mostly Hispanic. So we have a lot of economic poverty. We have all kinds of a galaxy of social ills. And in the midst of that, we have a tremendous amount of faith in Jesus. We're actually the fastest growing community in Massachusetts and one of the youngest. The average age in Lawrence is only 32. So we are loaded with kids. In the midst of a in many ways, difficult climate, we have a school called Lawrence Catholic Academy. It's for children from age 3, pre-K, through grade 8. We currently have 475 kids, which is remarkable. We can get these kids ideally for up to 11 years. And in the midst of all of the realities of our community, of our city, we graduate 100% of our children to high school. We graduate last year 97% of our kids to select high schools. And that's not just a measure of academic success. Our kids are really formed in Jesus. They're number one, they have a tremendous character, moral formation, faith formation. They learn that God is the source of their gifts, and they really learn that these gifts are meant to be used in excellent ways to serve the world. So back to your original question, of all things, our enrollment is up it's more than 20% just in the last 2 years. It is clear across the country that more and more people are hungry for faith-based education, and particularly in the inner cities for Catholic education. So at a time when enrollment trends, not just in private school, but in public school, the trends are down overall. In our Catholic school, with all of these challenges, including economic ones, we are just growing and growing. We have waiting lists at all of our earliest grade levels. People really are, in fact, banging the door to get in.
And given the economic situation in Lawrence as well, Father Paul, could you talk about this amazing fundraising effort, 28 million of 30 already raised, and how amazing that was to be able to put that together in a situation like Lawrence?
Yeah, so we've been in the happy but also challenging position of we're very strong in terms of enrollment, in terms of faculty, in terms of curriculum, all different important measures of the success of a school. We are also housed in 3 big buildings that were built 100+ years ago that while they're safe, they are way beyond not just their prime. They'll actually shut down within a few years purely because of age, unless we build a completely new school. So we have the challenge in this economically poor community of how do you do it? So we're going to build an entirely new school, $30 million for that. And as well, what we don't have currently, after the new school is built on the same property, current buildings will be knocked down and we'll build for the first time a recreation center, a full gym, auditorium space, which is so important for any child's education and personal formation, which we currently lack. So it's a mammoth project, and particularly given our economic realities, that's a big ticket. That's not a big ticket for building a public school, but it certainly is for a Catholic school. And it particularly is in a community where our average per capita income is $20,858 per year.
Well, young people, too, are such a gift to us, a gift to the church, a gift to the community, and it's so important. And Kevin said that you had raised 28 out of $30 million. Well, that leaves us $2 million that we still have to raise. How do people get involved?
So you can look up the full information about the project at lawrencecatholicacademy.net. There's a button on there that says the new LCA. It explains the reasoning for a new school and then the design of this new school and recreation center. And you can donate on there. Jay and Kevin, between the two of you, surely you have $1 million. So
You'll have to talk to my wife.
Click on the donate button, and there's full information there about sending in gifts. But the wonder of this is $28 million to date. We have 18 gifts of $1 million or more. Wow. If you want evidence that there are people who believe in Catholic education, racial justice, the church's social teaching, inner city education, who are eager to sacrifice deeply, that is the proof.
And we get a chance to see some of the animation of some of the new building. It looks amazing. If you could maybe just talk about how this success in Lawrence can be an inspiration for other dioceses, other Catholic schools around the country.
There have to be, I know, there are hundreds of Catholic schools around the country that have done very good work in the past or are doing very good work today that are facing the same issues, aging facilities. And those schools often have leaders who put their heads in the sand, understandably. How could I ever build a new school? What would that even cost? Where would we ever get the money? Our experience is just being honest about reality. There's no shame here. If buildings are coming to the end of their usefulness, well, that's just reality. God put us here now, in this time and place, to do God's work now. So I'd encourage schools everywhere, don't be afraid of anything. Be honest about what the real needs are. Don't be held back by what could be daunting amounts of money. Figure out, what do I really believe God would have us do? And then go out and find out, are there people who will economically sacrifice to do this? If it turns out that there aren't, then you probably were wrong. It's probably not God's will. But the consistent thing is, if you go out, you'll find through people giving, yes, this is God's will. The proof is people are giving to it. So I do think it's natural, very understandable, that a lot of parish and school leaders are afraid of big infrastructure challenges. Fear gets us nowhere. You just sit in fear. Getting past that and getting bold and getting to work is the answer to helping build the kingdom.
And we need to be bold now, Father, because if we're not, the alternative is something none of us want to face. It's important that these buildings are built and that they're filled with young people today. So
unlike you two exalted Catholic school, high school graduates, I'm a product of public secondary school, and it was a really terrific public school. So I'm a big advocate of a very good public school. It's a different time today than when I was growing up. There are wonderful public schools in this country. The social realities that our children are facing, whether it's in the inner city or in the wealthiest communities, have nothing to do with the social challenges the three of us faced. So this is a time when people of all different faiths and no faith are taking a look at, in what atmosphere do I want my child to be raised? A quarter of the kids at Lawrence Catholic Academy are not Catholic. We have Muslim kids at Lawrence Catholic Academy. Their families believe in God, and they believe in the same basic moral values that we do as Catholics. If we have the opportunity to offer kids those values as the reality in which they're educated for up to 11 years in our case, that is such a gift that the best public school can't possibly offer. It's just the nature of secular versus faith-based education. So you'd have to be a nut job in most of this country to not be looking at what is the world in which these kids are educated right now, what's the moral world in which any school exists.
So one more time, Father, where would people go to help out at this project?
LawrenceCatholicAcademy.net, the new LCA page for full information, the donate button for both of your $1 million donations.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Father. Thank you so much for being with us today, and congratulations on this great project, so important, not only for the Archdiocese of Boston, but I think for the country.
Thank you guys for having me, and please come visit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day now.
Yeah.